Hi, welcome back. Today we will be creating division stories, and you will get to be the author of your own story today.
For our lesson today,
it may be helpful to have the fraction strips that are located at the beginning of your lesson in your workbook if you have that. I cut mine out so that I would be ready to use them with you. If you have them, great, grab them now. And if not, that's okay too. You can draw pictures of the models with me. Now, let's get started. Creating division stories. Let's look at our opening exercise. In our opening exercise, it asks us to use a tape diagram to show 8/9 divided by 2/9. And since we're using our fraction strips today, I went ahead and built 8/9 using our fraction strips. If you have your fraction strips, then you should pause the video and build 8/9 with your strips now.
The question that we're going to be asking ourselves today
is how many 2/9 are in 8/9? And I'm going to give you a second to think about that and use my model that I've built here to help you with that answer.
All right. And we can see here.
All right. And we can see here. There's 2/9. So we have one group of 2/9, two groups, three groups, and four groups of 2/9. So 8/9 divided by 2/9 is 4. Molly's friend Xavier also has 11/8 cups of strawberries. He needs 3/4 cup of strawberries to make a batch of tarts. How many batches can he make? Draw a model to support your solution. This time, it asks us to draw a number line. In a previous lesson, we solved this problem before, but we used a tape diagram. Today, we're going to try using a number line to think about this problem. So Molly's friend Xavier has 11/8 cups of strawberries. He needs 3/4 cups to make the batch of tarts. So this is what we have, and the question it seems to be asking us is how many of the 3/4 are in 11/8? That means this question is modeling measurement division. Let's write the division equation now. 11/8 divided by 3/4. One strategy we used in our work with division and fractions is to find a common denominator. I can see between 8 and 4 that my common denominator would be 8. I can rename 3/4 as a number of 8s. How many 8s would equal 3/4? Yes, 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. So I can think about this problem as 11/8 divided by 6/8. Now let's draw a number line to help us solve this problem. You should draw your number line with me.
I've drawn my number line,
and I'm debating what numbers I should put on it. It says I need 11/8. I know 8/8 make a whole, so 11/8 is more than a whole. So I think I need to make my number line larger than one whole. Let's do that now. Okay, I've created my number line, and I've partitioned it into 8s. Our problem says that we have 11/8. I want you to find 11/8 on your number line and make a bracket for it. Okay, I found where 11/8 would be. I know 8/8 is one whole, so this is 9/8, 10/8, 11/8. How many 6/8 are in 11/8? I'm going to use a different color now, and I'm going to show where 6/8 would be. So here is a group of 6/8. Can I make another group of 6/8? Let's try. I made another group of 6/8, but look what happened. I don't have enough to make another group of 6/8. This is what we have here in this bracket. So I can make one group of 6/8, and then what fraction of another group of 6/8 could I make? Let's see. How many parts are in this group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 parts out of the 6 parts that we need. So we can make one group of 6/8 and then 5/6 of another group. Our answer would be 1 and 5/6. Let's record our answer now. Xavier can make 1 and 5/6 batches of tarts. Now let's look at example 1.
Okay, let's look at example 1 together.
Today we're going to be going over, you see there's some steps laid out here. And so what we're going to be doing is kind of scaffolding through how to write the word problem. This is the skill that we've been building up to really, is for you to understand division of fractions, understand the types of division of fractions, so that you can write your own word problems involving division of fractions. And the way that we're going to be writing these is through this 5-step method, and we'll really step it out together. So let's look at step 1 in this process. We're going to be writing a word problem for 1/2 divided by 1/8. And we have to decide on an interpretation. And that just means, are we doing measurement or partitive division? And for today's lesson, I've already decided for you. Congratulations, we're going to be doing measurement division. I want us to refer back to this little anchor chart here. So in measurement division, our divisor is going to represent the size or the measure of the group. And the question that we're going to be asking ourselves is, how many blank are in blank? So we'll refer back to this little anchor chart to kind of help us through this process. So for now, our interpretation is going to be measurement. And the question that we're going to ask ourselves is, how many 1/8 are in 1/2? I'm going to record that question now. That's our step 1. And the reason that we had to decide that in this is because we're not given any context. So you can't decide if a problem is measurement or partitive just by looking at an equation. An equation can be either. It's when you put the story to it that it becomes one or the other. So we're telling you what type of story we're going to do today. We're going to do a measurement story. In earlier lessons, we first found common denominators. And so we could do that here for 1/2 divided by 1/8. And I'm looking at our denominators of 2 and 8, and I'm thinking that 8 would be our common denominator that we could use. So how can I rename 1/2 as a number of 8s? You should do that now.
Yes, we can see this would be 4
Yes, we can see this would be 4/8 divided by 1/8. That's what it would look like to write that same expression with common denominators. And now it wants us to draw a model. You could also use your fraction strips. So let's take a look at what this would look like with our fraction strips. We can see that I could build this 1/2 and find out how many 8s are in 1/2. We see our answer here. Well, let's see what it looks like when we draw this model, because that's what the question asked us to do. So I'm going to start by drawing a whole thing.
And I'm going to partition my whole.
And I'm going to partition my whole
So this is what we have.
into a half. So this is what we have here. We have this 1/2. And we're asking how many 8s are in 1/2. And so we need to partition our whole thing into 8s. Let's do that now. All right, so now we can see where our 1/2 is located, and we can see we have 1/8 here. Okay, now we've drawn our model. Step 3 asks us to find the answer. So what is our answer to how many 1/8s are in 1/2? And we can see that the answer would be 4.
Step 4 of our process for today.
Step 4 of our process for today is going to be to choose a unit. Now you can choose any unit that you would like for your word problem to be about. So you could choose to write a word problem about half gallon and 1/8 of a gallon, or half ounce and 1/8 of an ounce, or half ton and 1/8 of a ton. So lots of units would work. I want you to think of a unit that you want to use, and that's what your story problem is going to be about. So you choose a unit and write it down here for step 4. I'm going to choose a unit of pounds. And now we need to go to step 5. Set up a situation based upon a model. And the question that we're asking is, how many 1/8, and I'm going to use the unit of pounds, how many 1/8 pounds are in 1/2 pounds? So let's look at our model here. So we're seeing how many of these 8s pounds are
So
in
what would
1
we
half
have?
pound? So what would we have a half pound of?
Flour
Maybe half pound of flour or a half pound of chocolate. That might
So
be
now I
nice.
want you to think about your situation.
So now I want you to think about your situation and what story problem you're going to write. And I want you to try and write one now and come back when you're ready to share it with me.
This is the story problem that I wrote.
This is the story problem that I wrote. Bonnie Baker has a total of 1/2 pound of chocolate. Sounds delicious. And she needs 1/8 pound of chocolate for each batch of brownies that she bakes. How many batches of brownies can Bonnie bake with 1/2 pound of
That's the story
chocolate?
problem that I wrote.
That's the story problem that I wrote.
Story problem.
I wish I could hear your story
Now
problem.
let's look at example 2.
Now let's look at example 2.
3/4
Example
divided
2.
by 1/2.
3/4 divided
Let's
by
do our
1/2.
5 steps.
Let's do our 5 steps.
Decide on an interpretation.
Step 1, decide on an interpretation, which we've already decided was measurement. And remember, in measurement, the question that we're asking is how many 1/2s are in 3/4? The next step that we took was to think about how we could write this problem using common denominators. I think you should write yours with common denominators now and come back when you're ready to show me. I know I can rename 1/2 as 2/4. Now, step 2, draw a diagram to model that situation. I want you to pause the video, create your diagram, and come back when you're ready to check yours with me. This is the diagram that I drew. Take a look and see if it looks like yours.
I can see I have 3/4.
I can see I have 3/4, and I'm asking how many 2/4 are in 3/4, or how many 1/2s are in 3/4. And I can see I have a whole 2/4 here, but then I can't get another whole 2/4, but I can get a part of it. Can you see what the answer would be? I can get one group of 2/4, and what fraction of another group of 2/4? Write your answer now and come back when you're ready to show me. Yes, the answer is 1/2.
One group of 2/4.
Here is one group of 2/4 and a half of another group. So my answer is 1/2. Now we're going to choose a unit to write another story problem. Decide what your unit will be and record it now. So I chose the unit of ounces. You could have chosen a different unit, certainly. And we're asking ourselves, how many 1/2 ounces are in 3/4 ounces? And we could have ounces of lots
go
of different
ahead.
things. Maybe it's
Because
juice.
I'm going to stay in here for a little bit longer. I'll come out in a little bit, but
Okay, write your story problem now and come back when you're ready to share it with me. This is the story problem that I wrote. Tia has 3/4 ounce of chocolate grounds left in her coffee can. She needs 1/2 ounce to make 1 cup of coffee. How many cups of coffee can she make?
I hope she has enough.
Oh,
I need my coffee in the morning.
I hope she has enough. I need my coffee
I
in the
hope you
morning.
share your story problem with someone too.
I hope you share your story problem with
These were the
someone
5
too.
steps that we used today
These were the 5 steps that we used today to write our own word problems involving division and fraction.
Now let's look at your assignment.
Nicely done.